All right, John. So, to answer your question, were there any unforeseen challenges to getting open? That's an impossible question to answer because there's like a million little things going on and happening. But I did come up with a list of like five things that went wrong. Then I also have three things that I think went right because I don't want to come across as all doom and gloom. Because we did get some stuff right, in my opinion. So, first, to answer your question, some unforeseen things that went wrong. With our first location in 23, our permitting got delayed by 2 full months due to the architect. They made a mistake and it set us back 2 full months. I'm not going to get into that. With a good architect, that shouldn't happen. There was just some mistakes made, and it led to the fire marshal not approving our permits, and we basically were just sitting there with our hands tied for 2 months. It was a very unpleasant 2 months, but live and learn. So we weather the storm and move on. So architecture issues and permitting, it was a huge setback for us. That was probably the biggest setback of everything, definitely with our first location. Another thing, with all three of our locations, there were definitely some construction delays. With none of them, they were significant. But I just say that to say that, like, I've never had a project that went like 100% according to plan. Like, there's going to be things go wrong. Was it anything like major? Only once. We found asbestos in the concrete at one of our locations. Cost us a pretty penny. I don't remember how much, but it was more than a couple $1,000. And so that was something that came up out of pocket that we didn't never saw that one coming. So there was that. But other than that, there were like construction delays. Like I said, there's all kinds of like minor stuff, but nothing crazy there. On one of our locations, we had a sign install delay. That was the contractor's fault, but also my fault. The contractor offered, like, hey, I'll take care of this for you. And I said, sure, why not? They ended up not getting in touch with the sign company, they didn't respond to the sign company's communication. Therefore, the sign company didn't get the permits approved through the local municipality in time, and that led to delays, which is super annoying because it was just like so basic and something elementary that I didn't find out till after the fact when I'm like, where's our sign? We had some sign install delays. Again, you want that signage up as soon as humanly possible. In hindsight, that was one of those things that's like pretty simple. I should have just done it myself, but I let the contractor do it. And lesson learned, I won't do that again. To some things that are a little bit more complicated. Marketing. We've had some marketing challenges. Truthfully, our sales bombed in 2 out of our 3 pre-sales. The 2 most recent ones, our first pre-sale marketing went good. Last 2, not so much. Couple issues. One, with the last 2, and that we did those at the same time throughout like the holiday season of 2023. That was like we were basically November, December, January 2023, and then January 2024. Our digital marketing just did not hit. It completely bombed. Our targeting just couldn't have been off. We're talking to people on hospice. We're talking to people like it was just again, we're talking to people that were not our demographic at all. People that didn't live in the area. That's not my area of expertise, but again, our targeting we whiffed big time. So that was a huge miss from our digital marketing side. On the organic side, because you shouldn't rely 100% on digital marketing, on organic side, I fault myself for not personally putting together a more concrete organic plan. I gave my directors, I believe, a little bit too much autonomy, and in their defense, I don't think they really understood the amount of volume that was required in order to get the results that we wanted. So I believe that our organic marketing plan was not as aggressive and was not as dialed in as what it should have been. So moving on to staffing. Staffing's kind of the wild card. Staffing's tough, man. You're dealing with humans. They're imperfect creatures. We're all imperfect. We all have our flaws. And so I've had to fire a director during a pre-sale. that was very unpleasant. It was due to poor performance, and it was not a fun experience. I don't want to relive that one. I had a head coach quit during pre-sale. In hindsight, that was a bad hire. Um, and I say that because this was someone that had a training background, and I personally have a fitness background. And coming from the industry and being in the industry for 20 years, in a lot of places, fitness is not really, in my opinion, a professional environment. It's just like, yeah, I'm just going to show up, train people, do my thing, and like, no big deal. And, just kind of come and go as I please, and that's it. And that's not how we operate. That's not how Alloy operates. That's not how I operate my non-Alloy gym. Like, we've got standards, we've got expectations. There's other things that happen outside of the training session. And I say that head coach quit. Um, Again, it was a bad hire. I think that I didn't do a good enough job communicating expectations as far as what went into the job in advance. So again, this isn't a place where you just like show up, train your clients, and leave. That's on me. And then overall, also during our pre-sale, I believe I gave a little bit too much autonomy with time management. Humans don't manage their time very well, and I'm reminded of that constantly. And again, I think I gave a little bit too much flexibility during the pre-sale. We don't do that now, but during the pre-sale, there's just a little bit too much flexibility as far as like, what are you doing on a daily basis, hourly basis, weekly basis? Like, what's that schedule look like? And then reinforcing and holding them to that schedule. So those are some things that didn't go right. I would say like we weathered the storm, we got through all of it, and we've rebounded, and we're fine. Um, some things that did go right though. One, I think we did a really good job with negotiating leases. I negotiated really aggressively. So if you haven't found your location, one thing that I would say is we continue to negotiate on multiple properties at once. I've seen some people make mistakes is where it's like they find a place and like, oh, we found a spot, and they like stop looking. Whereas me, it's like, no, I'm going to keep looking until we're past the goalpost, until we're signing the dotted line, until it is a 100% done deal. Even if we've got an LOI in play. Like to me, I've had I don't know 3 or 4 LOIs fall through. So until that lease is signed, I am still looking for more property. We also negotiated really strong lease terms. So I'm definitely not going to get desperate and compromise stuff that puts the business in jeopardy a year down the road. That's why I've walked away from a few deals for that reason alone. So I think our lease negotiations, we've done a great job there and really got those right. I think retention during the pre-sale, we've done a great job. Our communication was dialed in. We're providing a ton of value to the clients, whether it's like newsletter, emails, educating them, sending them videos, checking in, providing workouts for them to do from home, doing like social gatherings or workouts in the park. We've done a lot of things just to continue to add value during our pre-sale, just to begin to like strengthen those relationships. And I think that really paid off as well with our retention and just really starting to build that strong community right out of the gates. And then the third thing that we do is, or that I think we did really well, was our coaches were extremely prepared. I would put our quality of service up against anyone. I feel like we just really did a good job of educating and training our coaches on the systems and how to coach and what to expect. And, I think in that regard, I've got a little bit of an unfair advantage coming from a fitness background for the last 20 years. Like, pre-sales and sales and phone sales, like that's not my area of expertise. But when it comes to like operating and in the day-to-day of a gym, I've got a lot of experience in that area. And so I think that I was able to prepare our coaches very well. And so going into opening and providing good services and making sure the sessions weren't like clunky. I feel like sessions were pretty smooth right out of the gates because we spent an insane amount of time training them. I actually I added it up. We spent 72 hours in training and me coaching our team during that time to get ready to get open. So a lot of time went into it, but I truly believe it paid off. So hope this helps, and good luck, man.